So now I like to go through our short guidelines and what you will expect to see in our study group. If you are not added, please join the developer portfolio Slack channel. All conversation will be held on this channel. All tasks and all information will be shared there. Our time frame is 8 weeks. So I hope in 8 weeks we all have new portfolio. Someone will create it, some will update of us. We will have weekly tasks and learning materials. Each week you will receive a fresh set of tasks and some materials. It may be video, blogs, or some reading articles. I ask you to go through all materials to understand that you know all GitHub features and use it in your portfolio. For those who have some portfolio now, it also should be valid because sometimes in simple steps you may miss something. Even if you think you have done this, please read and go through every step. Our group is open and you may join to make your portfolio in any week, but you will go on your own pace. We have roadmaps for all 8 weeks. So I will share a roadmap for 1 week, each week. We will be sharing on Fridays. So you have weekends to go through the information and make plan for your achievements and deals. I ask everybody to share their journal. I understand that it may be hard. Someone will shine, someone will be thinking that it's not good to share their jobs, but in our life we have many things that don't depend on us. For example, massive waves of layoffs, wars, economic crisis. But in this group we help each other. It's playground for us, and we will play and help each other to make our portfolios more shining. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask them. Even I may answer, or some other volunteers. Even if someone know what to help, please answer if you have answer for your members in this study group. We have 2 more live meetings in the middle and in the end. We will have Q&A session, and also we will encourage some guest experts that will share their experience and their thoughts about portfolios and the main points of them. Also, I think everyone should check their growth and go through their own maps. You may do it's trackers like Jira or Trello or something else that you'll use, maybe to-do list. It's also good. It's important for you to know what will go step by step and how you follow your succeed. Also, we will review all portfolios that will be shared in our Slack group, and I hope Kaleigh and other volunteers have the ability to share their thoughts and give some advices to you. If someone have questions, please ask about how it will be going and what to expect. The first task I will be sharing today after the meeting. Kaleigh, if you are ready, we will go.
So I'm Kaleigh. I'm a software engineer at NBC Universal, and I work in the NBC sports side of things, and I work on the Sports Engine app, which is a youth sports app that parents can use to sign up their kids and to deal with like the season management and all that stuff. So I work on that app on the commerce side, and I do mostly front end. Obviously, I'm in Queens, but I have been doing some back end stuff as well. And also we have been interviewing people, and like when we get the information from the recruiters about somebody who wants, that we're going to be interviewing, we get their resume, and that usually has like a link to their GitHub profile. So that is what, like kind of shows you before you even meet the person in the interview, what they're gonna bring to the table, like what kind of work are they actually doing? Because that kind of, that shows you exactly what somebody does, like when they're working. So yeah, so those kind of things make an impression before you even talk to the person, and then it also gives you the chance to talk about something in the interview that you can like refer back to, and people can actually see what you're talking about instead of talking about a project that's internal and that they can't view your work, how you work, all of that. So I thought I could share some profiles that have, different things about it that I like and that like I would be looking for when interviewing somebody. And I have some examples of room for improvement, things that like you would be like, I don't understand, like what is this person actually doing? And then some other fun things for your GitHub profile. Let me share my screen. Okay, so this is sorry. All right, so this is like, I just, looked up a bunch of like random profiles that I had either like followed people on GitHub or just whatever, just to, yeah, so I don't know these people or anything. But for like this person, if they were, interviewing at our company, I would click on their GitHub and this is what you see. So it kind of gives you a quick overview of like the person and what they're interested in, what they do. And now that they have like the pinned option for GitHub profiles, you can see kind of what they're choosing to show you to represent themselves, which is pretty cool because it's instead of just looking through the whole list of repos, you can actually see what is, what they're showing you, what they want to show you. So yeah, so like you can see the pinned
Kaleigh,
section.
Kaleigh, sorry for the interruption. Are you sharing the screen?
I think so. Let me try it again. Oh yeah, if I hit the share button, that would probably help. I just selected the screen and I thought that was it. Okay. I have new monitors, so I'm like getting used to two of them. Yeah, so everyone can see the GitHub page, right? Yes.
We do.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so this, what I was talking about is, some random person's profile that either I've stumbled upon before or just have used like some of their tools that they have on their GitHub. But this one, it shows you what they're about, like designer, anthropologist, like just gives you a little more blurb than you would normally see like in a resume. And it kind of makes that person seem more like human, and you can see like what they're actually working on. So for these pinned repositories that she has here, it's like the 6 that she has chosen to, say, hey, look at these ones first. see my work, see something I'm interested in or something people always use. So yeah, so like these different, repos are ones that she wants you to see. So like she has like a version 3 of her website and a version 2, so you can actually go and like, click on it and see what, oh, she's worked on the website multiple times and she's got different repositories. So like she's got good information about, what version 3 is about. And she has like the tech stack listed so you know what kind of thing she's working with. And then, if you wanted to actually clone it and run it locally, you could do that, which would be kind of cool because then you could dig through that person's code if you wanted, or, like kind of just see more info. But yeah, so you can see all of this and you can see it's updated recently, like 3 hours ago. So it's something that's like maintained and that she actually works on. And then one's like this. So like she's got some slides. So maybe she was doing a talk somewhere. I don't know, but she's got, yeah, it's a slide for my talk. But like it gives you that like information of like, oh, okay, this person actually goes to conferences and like talks and wants to represent herself and code and teach others. And like she's got all of like the slides there so you can see what she even talked about. And then like for this one, like the digital gardening, like that's like a whole thing, but on her site, she kind of explains it. And since it's such like a thing that other people do and have, she's got like a lot of different resources that you can, click off of. So that she's like really, into maintaining this GitHub because she knows people come to it. So she's, updating it and giving you a lot of information, which is great because that means that this person would do that on their work apps, or you would hope that they would, so that they will update READMEs and update people about different things. Yeah, so here's like another one. And this example is like if you, land on this profile and you're like, okay, let me go look at all of their repositories that they have because she's got 76. That's a lot. Are they just random ones? What's going on? And so you can see like the last time she updated these October, so it's pretty recent. And they've got a lot of not only descriptions, but like all the little tags. And I think that's pretty helpful too, because that, in general makes your repository like searchable and like, other people can find it and they might find something that leads them to your profile. They're looking for a developer and then, they go from there. So these things are very helpful. And like all of these have like descriptions. So you're like, okay, she definitely is busy with her own side work. And then this one's like another one that's got like a lot of information, and you can see that this person is like, okay, I am really working on stuff. And then another one is the same thing. They don't have as many tags, but I mean, that's fine. That's not like a requirement kind of thing, but just looking through this, it's like, okay, this person would probably be good to work with because like all last year they were updating things, last month, an hour ago. So that like, okay, they're active on their own GitHub, which, makes it seem like, okay, this developer is like, they like to work. They like their job pretty much. And then this one, it doesn't have like as many like descriptions and stuff, but you can still see that this person is like done things like on their own. Some of it is kind of like older, but at the same time, I think it's still good to just keep old stuff on your repository so people can see kind of like where you started from and like as you've grown, like the growth. Because then that also shows that they will grow in their role. But yeah, so kind of like going from there and like kind of different things that would be helpful for anybody to put on their profiles or on their GitHub. Like, you know, we do front end Fridays, and so all these front end mentor challenges are really good, I think, for your profile because they're pretty big sized like repositories in themselves. Like they've got lots of images, they have different like functionalities and everything. So it's not just like the same thing over and over. It's different things that you can say, okay, I've done, you know, like I've made a note taken app, and that's like, you know, one thing. But then also like I know we have like the like product lists, and like that's like those are two totally different things. But like if you had those both like on your profile, it'd be like, okay, she does like a lot of different sorts of things and not just kind of like siloed in one thing. Which, I mean, that can be good and bad if you're siloed, because it means that, you know, you're focused on something. Yeah, and I'll share like all these links and stuff, but like I thought this page is pretty cool because it's for the GitHub profile README that everyone automatically can do on GitHub. And so it kind of gives you like an idea of all the different looks and feels and stuff. And you can also add your own profile to this, which I think would be kind of cool to see that like someone's like, oh, I think my GitHub is cool enough that other people can go look for it. So you can do that as well. But this one hasn't really been updated much, so I don't know like they would actually update it. But it's a good thought, you know, like someone else could do that with their GitHub. But yeah, and so then I wanted to share some fun things that like to me as a developer, like when I'm looking at somebody's page, what like kind of makes it stand out and like makes it seem like, oh, this is like a really cool profile. Like they want you to like read about them and see like what they've been working on. So this is like more for your personal like README on your GitHub itself, which is almost kind of like a mini resume, and it's like showing you different, like you could put all sorts of stuff on it, like, but it just shows you that, you know, this person likes to do all this. So some things like, so this is like it's like a graph of the person's like what they work on. So like I can go to somebody's profile and see kind of like, oh, do they do a lot of TypeScript, JavaScript, like, and you can actually see what types of files like they work on. And this one is really cool. I didn't play with it, but I read about it. Basically, it checks every single day. So you get that updated, you know, like hours ago, every single day, because it's a GitHub action that runs, but it also like goes through your activity and like figures out how to display it on your GitHub. So I thought that one was really cool to shout out. Another one I saw is this GitHub profile generator. So it like, you know, if you're like, okay, I don't know where to start with this, like I just put my name, like I don't know. This kind of like helps you fill it out, and you know, it's got the emojis, put the links, all of that, and then you can put all of like the icons for your skills, because like a lot of these profiles have them. There's so many options on this page, and then you've got all these badges you can, you know, select, and then at the end of this, like it will generate the README for you, so you can just paste that in there, and then it's like, okay, you have something on your site. And then some other things, you know, that these are like all like the different things that people have put on their READMEs, I think are pretty cool, and that show you like, okay, this person wants to show you their stuff. So this one shows like their activity on GitHub, and I think this is a action as well. I'm not sure. Yeah. So it's a GitHub action that runs, but it will show you in like this fun little list what you have just worked on. So like you could see that, oh, this person was working on their project. They opened a PR. They, commented on an open source something. Like it will show you what they've been up to, which I think is really cool. And it's like one of those things where it's like right off the bat, it's like, oh, I see something that this person, is probably proud of or wants to talk about in an interview. And then you have something to talk about and something tangible that you could like, screen share or whatever and go through in an interview. And yeah, so I'll share all these links in case anybody sees stuff that they want to check out. But like, there's all sorts of stuff that you can add to that profile page to just kind of make it not only stand out, but just like kind of summarize what you're working on or what you are about, which I think is pretty fun. And I thought this one was cool, like the commit history, which I think, some people, I don't know, like some people, like you look at their commit history and you're like, there's nothing on it. But like for me, like mine, I think looks pretty blank because my company, like even though we use GitHub, since it's like a private org, it doesn't show up on my stats, which is kind of sad. But yeah, so like you can't always like take that part for like, okay, this person's never done stuff. It's like they might have done things. This one I thought was pretty cool. It's like GIFs, however you want to say it, for your README. And so it's just kind of like something that's like, moving and gonna pop out and someone's, it's like just something that people are gonna be into. These are, we put the little badges, and this again is really good too for your profiles, or for your, portfolio, like for your projects. So that you could put like those little tags on the README that, oh, we use, this technology, and, this is good for whatever. And they've got, I think, like all of the tags that you could possibly want. And this is like another one, like stats. I have this one on mine. And then this one is like a GitHub repo, but it takes you to this site and it's got like a bunch of different templates on it. It was working the other day. Okay, yeah. So it's got like just kind of different things to inspire you, basically. And this one too is really in depth and crazy, but you get the idea. Like there's like a lot out there that you can put on GitHub, and it doesn't take that much time. There's not, it's not like a required kind of thing, but it's like a nice to have and a nice to see, like when you're interviewing somebody and wanting to see kind of like what they're about, like what is it? And also too, just GIFs, I don't know how to say this, like, but I think these are pretty cool too. I have on my profile, some that are for like different things. I just always copy and paste like in a project, like the prettier formatting, like the same rules and stuff. Like I just go to my just copy it, paste it. Or for like different, just like small CSS things. Like I think I have one for like centering things. So it kind of shows people too, like, oh, this person's, yeah, they like to just kind of show you like anything. So yeah, just generate again. Yeah, you can do all sorts of stuff. You got trophies you can show and the streaks. But yeah, so and then just like kind of like a good to know thing, every now and then check your profile, make sure it looks good and the images aren't broken or anything, because like some of them you go to and broken image and it might throw off your whole like formatting or whatever. But you know, just want to make sure that all that's looking up to date as well. But it's, yeah, so that's kind of like all that I have to like show. But I just wanted to like kind of just give people an idea of what, you know, you look for, or what like a interviewer might look for when they're looking at your profile, and what, you know, you would want to display as your, this is what I can work on, this is the different things that I do, look at my work, look at, you know, how I work, which then gives somebody a good idea of who you are. Because like sometimes you might not have like a coding interview, so that's kind of gives them like some insight. And then while they're like talking during the interview, you could ask them and maybe they could show you stuff. But yeah.
Kaleigh, we have two questions in one, I say. Are there any success stories from people GitHub portfolio helping catch the eye of hiring manager or something like that? And also, should we have a good GitHub portfolio and a regular portfolio website? What do you think about this?
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like up to you and like what you can handle. Like, you know, it's not like a, it's kind of like a on your own time kind of thing. But I think that like having your regular portfolio, like I feel like I have like a lot. I have my like website. I feel like it's like right now it's one of those digital garden things. But like, you know, you can learn about me there, and then you could go to my GitHub and learn about me there, and it's like different aspects like of your life almost. That makes sense. So like, I think having like just any kind of like thing that you would want to talk about basically like in an interview, or like show somebody or send to somebody saying like, oh, like you have a question about how to, you know, I don't know, how to create like a drop-down menu with that has, you know, certain highlighting and stuff. Like you could say, oh, check out my website, here's my code because I have this on here. And so yeah, I don't know if that makes sense. But
One more question. Do you go through prospective candidates' projects and review their comments? How do you determine how someone works?
yeah, so like that kind of gives you an idea of like how they're responding to comments, or how they ask questions, or what kind of questions they're asking. So if someone's like, you know, like if they're probably not commenting on their own PR, but if they're working on like an open source project, you can see them like interacting with somebody else. But just like seeing kind of if they're nice sounding, or if it sounds kind of like, you know, not nice. Like I think that kind of help somebody understand like how you work. Like, are you just like quickly like, this doesn't look centered, as opposed to like, hey, I was just taking a look at this, the centering seems off, like, you know, whatever. And so like those two different things are like, you know, when you read them yourself about your work, if someone has like a short sentence about it, you might be like, you know, everything looks bad, or they don't like me, or whatever, versus the, hey, you know, like just like nice kind of way. It's like, oh, they're just, you know, they just want to know something, or they just noticed this little thing. I feel like that kind of determines like, or kind of shows you how like someone might be working. And then also like on your commits on your profile, on your like projects and everything, like I think, you know, having good detailed commits, like there's some projects I have that I'm just like, I'm like, I'm not gonna write my own commit message, like this is just for me, like whatever. So I'm just like update. But if you're working on something that you're like, I know people want to see and they're gonna look at, you know, make sure you're writing detailed commits or just explaining like what the update was, you know, go to into more depth about it. And there's some Visual Studio Code extensions that will kind of like pre-write them for you. And I'm sure there's like an AI something now that will do it as well. But like that will do like the conventional commits. So like you can just say, hey, this was like a bug that I fixed, and then it'll have like basically like a little template, and then in this Visual Code you can like just write in like, oh, I fixed this weird bug with the centering, versus, you know, just like saying, oh, center bug done. So yeah, so I think that kind of like will help you if you're just like working on something by yourself and you're like, I don't need to really explain this, but you know, someone might look at it and see kind of like what you're saying.
Yes, I agree. I also want to add about the question about GitHub portfolios. I think it depends on the country, because in my home country, it's the rule: if you send CV and without portfolio, the recruiter will call you back and said, oh, I think you miss, we need your GitHub portfolio. It's a common story in Ukraine, so you should have GitHub portfolio.
Yeah.
I don't know how in other countries, but it depends on hiring routine in your country.
Yeah. I've seen like even for companies, like we just want your resume in a Word doc, that's it kind of thing, versus like they want you to send links to all the different things you worked on. So it kind of just depends. So you kind of have to be ready for anything. So yeah, like when I had gotten laid off, I had time to like work on a bunch of stuff. I had like a lot of stuff ready to go. They're like, all right, if they just want one resume, I'm sending this one. If they want resume plus some examples, I got this one. And that, like, you know, just have like kind of things under your belt.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think we haven't no more questions. Thank you very much, Kaleigh. I hope if everyone will have questions, they will post in development channel and I will redirect it to you. Thank you for your expertise. You give me some new inputs in my thoughts.
Yeah, I'll get all those links. There's lots, but I'll paste them in the channel. So incoming spam.
Thank you, everyone. Let's meet in the channel. Have a good start. Bye.